American dream is dead. But if I get elected president, I will bring it back bigger and better and stronger than ever before, and we will make America great again. Thank you. Thank you very much.
2016, year of the snake. It's time for a change in the White House, y'all. Bring it.
How's it going, y'all? Welcome to the show. Click the share button if you can. How's it going, Karen? Good to see you. Just doing some shares, y'all. Click the share button if you can. Make America great again. Just doing some shares, y'all. Click the share button if you can. Hey, Diane, how's it going, my friend? How's it going, Chuck Marita? Good to see you. There's my Munkin. So we'll just let a few more folks come on into the room. We're going to talk about the impeachment tonight. I hope you've been watching the trial. We're going to talk about this Bolton thing. We're going to talk about a few things. I feel like we're getting a little distracted. We got to focus. We're going to talk about that as well. Had a great week. Good weekend. Sherry, how's it going? Good to see you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. You're watching the one and only Trump Talk US live in DC with Suzzanne Monk. I am Suzzanne Monk. We are 8 minutes away from our nation's beautiful capital. We are 15 minutes away from our president's White House. I have Chris McDonald representing Trump Talk US in the room as much as they'll let him. How's it going, Lisa Pritchard from Tennessee, watching us over on YouTube with Paul and Lisa. Welcome to the show.
Right, mostly. You make time when you can. But sometimes life gets in the way. And that stubborn fat
No ads.
Cool sculpting takes you further.
No. YouTube always trying to sneak in the ads. So just have a video set aside, waiting to play. It's got to sneak some ads in. It's driving me crazy. Tracy, how's it going from Ohio? Jolanta, welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, you guys. I got some fun stuff today to talk about, but we're going to talk about the impeachment. I want to get everybody up to date about what's going on with the impeachment trial on the floor of the Senate. I want to get everybody up to date, like pre-up to date about what's going on with this Bolton situation, because the left media is freaking out. I think they're getting sucked into the briar patch. Where, of course, I'm also going to talk a brief bit about Kobe and what I think we should be talking about instead. I know we're all upset. Everybody's freaking out. So we're going to talk about that as well. And then I have a great interview I'm going to play with y'all with my dear friend, Diane Ventura, creator of the Trump Towel. As you know, we keep it here in our studio all the time. We finally got our hands on the big boy. Finally, you guys, got our beach towel. This, you guys. Oh my gosh. And it's so soft. It's so soft. I literally I want pajamas made out of these towels. I want like 5 of them. Maybe I could do it. You know what? There's a lot of yardage here. You know what? Anyway, we're going to talk to Diane later. I have a interview we recorded this weekend right here in the studio. And now that I got all this technology, we can watch interviews. We can do all kinds of fun stuff. So, yeah. Diane, welcome, 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 welcome. All right. I hope you were watching the Republicans. Thank you, Sherry. I love Washington State. Washington to Washington State. Patricia, John, how's it going? I hope you are watching the trial today in the Senate. If you did not watch the trial, you definitely at least take the time. I know we're all busy. I know we got kids. I know we got meals to cook, everything. It's only Monday. Whew. But take some time. Listen to Pam Bondi's testimony. This is what we have been waiting to see. An opportunity to talk about the truly ridiculous nature of these charges of impeachment in light of the reason Trump even mentioned corruption in Ukraine in the first place. That reason being, there was a lot of corruption in Ukraine that we government officials, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden's friend, were involved in. Hunter Biden got 17 payments of $83,000 a month, more than most of the CEOs. If you listen to Pam Bondi's testimony, she was fantastic. More than most of the CEOs, more than the CEOs here in the United States are paid for doing what? She looked into it. What did Hunter Biden do? He went to like 2 meetings a year. 2 meetings a year. 83. Where do you get this work? This sounds like this I can do. Now, this is a job I can handle, right? $83,000 a month. $83,000 a month. And then all I got to do is show up at like 2 meetings a year. Boom. I'm in. Sign me up. Right? Aren't we all there? So obviously, how's it going, Janine from New Zealand? Good to see you. Awesome. It's good to see actually that folks from all over the world, this is one of the reasons the mainstream media is losing so well. We are able to communicate with each other across nation lines, across city lines, across country lines, across state lines, and get the information out. So I hope you got a chance to listen to the Pam Bondi testimony. It laid out the epic case against not only Joe Biden, this is why the left is so freaked out and mad right now, also against Obama, knowing about the collusion with Joe Biden, knowing about the quid pro quo, about Biden claiming Obama knew, Biden claiming he had the authority of the president and the backing of the president to hold off. This is what Biden did. Hold off on military aid. Isn't this so weird? It's literally exactly what they accused Trump of. But Trump did not do. But they actually did. Biden openly stating, bragging. Oh, that's fantastic, Chris. Chris says, I have someone listening from the UK on my Skype. We're getting out there. Biden, Joseph Biden, his son Hunter, has this job on the Burisma board. The Burisma company is already being investigated. Okay. By the time this whole process, Biden and all of this process, long before Trump was even the concern of this Ukrainian scandal, Burisma has been being investigated. Okay. Biden's still in office. While Burisma is being investigated. The owner of the company of Burisma is given charges of fraud in the country. While Hunter Biden is still on the board, the owner of the company is accused and charged with fraud in the Ukraine while Hunter Biden is on the board. All this while, Joe Biden's going around talking about, this corruption. There's so much corruption in the Ukraine. We got to get rid of the corruption. This whole time, he's actually on the phone and bragging about it publicly. To be brutally honest, they literally thought they would never get caught. They would never have somebody stand up against them. They could literally do it right in our faces and we wouldn't care. And they thought that for years, probably because we let them do it right in our faces and we didn't do anything about it until we elected Trump, to be honest. So Biden on the phone to Ukraine, you will fire the prosecutor that's looking into Burisma because it's going to be an awkward situation with my son. You'll fire him or you won't get the aid. 6 hours later, aid comes in. Or the prosecutor's fired, the aid goes through. Literally what Joe Biden did. Now, the State Department knew about that. Several members of the media, several members of the administration, people knew, courts, people were asking questions. This doesn't look good, Joe Biden, they would say. They push it aside. They never thought they'd be caught. They never thought. They thought they could totally get away with using the leverage of the federal government of the United States to threaten the government of Ukraine that if they did not stop an investigation into Hunter Biden, into Burisma and Hunter Biden's involvement, into the vice president of the United States' son, and his involvement in a company for which he made $83,000 a month for going to 2 meetings a year. Yeah. And that's the testimony we heard on the Senate floor today. So if you haven't heard the testimony on the Senate floor today, you got to get in there and hear it. There's video clips. There's all kinds. She lays down the evidence, and it's so important to see. Now, to my overseas listeners, I just want to reach out because I know what you guys are getting on the international news because I watched it tonight, and you guys are getting, the Republican lawyers said something. Has it gone, Carol? The Republican lawyers said something. But it's still so shocking. Well, we're not even paying attention to that. We're paying attention to Bolton. Oh, no one even on the Hill is talking about that. Don't believe them. Okay? Do not believe the media when they tell you that nobody is talking about the Republican testimony, the Republican statement to Senate today. Everyone is talking about them. Everyone. The only people who are not talking about them, oddly, is the mainstream media. Because literally everyone else I know, my news feed, my timeline is blown up. President Trump is tweeting about it. Everybody is talking about it. We're talking about Pam Bondi. We're talking about Alan Dershowitz. We're talking about the testimony, the factual testimony that the Democrats have laid down, that the Republicans have laid down against the Democrat case for impeachment so solidly today. I don't know how you vote after you see what was going on with Joe Biden. Okay, this is the beauty of the situation, you guys. I got to come in here close because this is the beauty of the situation. All right, so awesome. The Republicans are actually putting the Democrat senators in the position to vote to cover up Joe Biden's crimes, which the Republicans have laid out clearly on the floor of the Senate with their party to cover up the crimes of their own party, or they vote to acquit. Now, which do you think is going to resonate with the voters back home? which choice do these Democrats possibly have to make that isn't going to hurt them with voters back home? Neither of them. Both choices. Both not voting because they're a little crazy considering. To be fair, I got to be honest. I think the Democrats who chose to vote to acquit, who voted against this radical Democrat impeachment, who stood up against their own party's crazy cover up, really, and stood up against that. I think those folks are actually going to do better. They're going to do better in the presidential election, or in the 2020 election. It is a presidential election, but they're going to do better in the election than they think. They're going to pull in more of these voters, these Democrat voters who are demoralized, who are fed up. The Democrat voter is not for this impeachment trial. They're not for this dragging out of the situation. They're really, this is a beltway, wonk, insider impeachment. It's not an impeachment that the Democrats want. It's not an impeachment the Republicans want. Certainly as Trump supporters, we don't want any part of this. We're so fed up, we're to the eyeballs. But if you're going to do it, fine. Then we're going to tell the truth about what you guys did, what the Democrats did, what if a few rhinos are scraped in there, which they will be. See, the Republicans have a chance to really keep their nose clean on this, despite the fact that their nose isn't probably 100% clean. I give you the John McCains of the world, etc. But they have a chance. They have a chance to do that by voting to acquit, and certainly voting. This is one of the reasons that the Republicans in the Senate are so adamant to not have witnesses, because witnesses are actually just going to make it one. It is a violation of the process. If the House had witnesses, how's it going, Kevin? If the House had evidence and had witnesses that needed to testify in this trial, they should have put that in the impeachment articles. There should not be any new witnesses being called. We are trying these articles. It's not an open-ended, just try it. That's what the Democrats want to turn it into. Okay. So, but at the same time, I can tell you right now, the Republicans do not want this witness calling process either, because it's only going to go bad for them as well. It's going to be hard to keep the corruption in the Democrats' court if that's the case. So what I suspect and what I think we'll see going forward, obviously Mitt Romney is starting to play his little flip-flop games. I wouldn't trust Mitt Romney not to vote against I would trust Mitt Romney is going to vote for impeachment of the president. I just would guarantee that. It's Mitt Romney. He's horrible. He's the worst ever. Now, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, these are people we should be calling. We should be talking to their office every single day, letting them know that we as Republicans do not support our leadership falling for this Democrat cover-up of their own criminal behavior that is directly the behavior that they are accusing President Trump of. If you can't, thank you, Joshua. If you can't recognize that, if you as Democrats cannot recognize that you guys are roping yourself into the worst, if you're going to support that, if you're going to say we're going to participate in the cover-up, we're going to vote for impeaching the president because we obviously want to cover up what Joe Biden did, which is exactly what the president is being accused of, if not worse, far worse, actually. Because we have actual tangible evidence, and he bragged about it publicly. So that's where the trial is going. We are going to see, I believe, a vote on Thursday is when they vote. The final vote is held whether or not to be bringing in new witnesses. So that's something to keep a watch on. I personally would just keep an eye out with all of your MAGA patriots who watch this stuff. They're going to share with you the best clips. So it's a lot. It's tedious. And wow, Ken Starr, drones on. Some of this testimony is, it makes me on just thinking of the testimony. So get a friend who's watching the whole thing, watch them. It's kind of like when you're driving on a long highway drive and you know that there's radar, you know that there's speed traps on that road. Okay. But you don't have a radar device, so you don't know, but you see somebody who you can tell they know, right? And you kind of follow them. And if they slow down, you slow down. That's what you want to do. That's what you want to do with his impeachment hearing, because they're certainly going to show you the best, the absolute best. I know, Kevin. See, this is the thing. This is the problem with Ken Starr. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Here, let's put this up. So, Kevin, because Kevin, you're a perfect example of what I'm talking about right now. Kevin says, Ken Starr mentioned tribunals. Isn't that awesome? Kevin listened to the whole thing enough so that he knows that Ken Starr mentioned tribunals. Those of us who might have been bored out of our minds listening to Ken Starr's droning voice might not have heard all of that. This is exactly what I'm saying. Follow your friends. They're all listening to it. This is a good time to use social media to get your information, because this is where you're going to find the information. They're not showing now. ABC, NBC, CBS, the major news networks, for some reason, had something else to talk about when Pam Bondi was busy laying out the charges against Joe Biden, or the potential charges against Joe Biden. Weird. I don't know what they possibly could have had to it was so important for the mainstream media. It was so important for them to play the impeachment. They had to have every detail. This is such a big deal. We have to rush. And then we held the impeachment articles, and then now they don't even want to show it. Oh, it's weird. It's weird. We're going to win. We're winning as we go forward. And certainly this is setting up the Democrats for an epic failure. Let's talk a little bit about John Bolton and the John Bolton book. Now, I know everybody's freaked out about this John Bolton book, okay? There's so much, oh my gosh, John Bolton is gonna cave on us. He's gonna dish on Trump, and everybody's already calling John Bolton names. It's already, the Bolton memes already started, already going. We haven't seen any of it. The book is barely dropped. Okay, the book is just, the leak and the book came out at the same time. The book, interestingly enough, was released to the government, because when you've worked for the federal government, hey Debbie, how's it going? Good to see you. Yes, indeed. Trump landslide. I believe it. But we're going to have to get the House back. We're going to have to get the Senate back. And this trial, this is a lot of how we're going to push that ahead. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But I want to finish what I'm saying about this book. So here's this book. Okay. John Bolton, as a government employee, has to present the book to the office. But, they have to clear it with the federal government. So he has to present that to the government. It's Colonel Vindeman who's in charge of this office. Okay, so he's the one who has to sign off on this book. So now this book is leaked, right? And in it, there's supposed to be some horrible. He's going to say things. He's going to say things that suggest he opposed Trump. Oh yeah, I'm sure he will. We know openly that John Bolton and President Trump did not agree on various policy. Right? And Kevin brings up a good point. Kevin says, we now know why Nancy had to hold onto the impeachment. She was waiting for the book leak. Yes, because it came out on the December 30th. The theory is she was waiting for this book to leak so that they could put information about that. Now it was stupid because they already went through the trial process. The articles were already written up, and the articles were already voted on. So this idea that you could put information from a book after the fact, after you've already voted the articles and then send them over to the Senate, was still just as crazy, which they knew. Okay, John Bolton's not an idiot. He knew. That's why we waited till he waited. It's this epic game of rabbit, tortoise, and hare. That we keep winning the races, even though they think we're slower than them. And so it's absolutely hilarious. So to see them falling all over themselves. Here's what the Democrats are doing right now. They're desperate to get a hold of this book. Okay. We now have a clear indication of where things are being leaked. Yet another obvious leak. Just like when you put a little dye in the toilet system and that you can see if it's leaking. Oh yes, it's leaking. I can see the leak because the dye is getting through, right? The same thing we're seeing. Yes. The same thing we're seeing in the Bolton book is, we now know where the leaking is coming from. But at the same time, here is my prediction. And I'm going to stand by this prediction because I'm rarely wrong. And this really smacks up sort of a Bannon kind of strategy, where what we're doing is releasing the book, giving some indication that, oh, Bolton might have something negative to say about Trump. We're going to jump on it, talk about it, put it on the New York bestsellers list, keep spreading the word of the book, and then a bunch of people will read the book. But what we're going to find out actually in the book, I'm telling you right now, my prediction, bombs against the Democrats, Democrat truth bombs that will embarrass and humiliate the Democrats in ways they don't even begin to know. Why don't they know that? Why didn't they look at the book and go, oh, this is saying bad things about us? Because again, they think that if we know bad things about them, it won't matter. They think the only thing that matters is bad things about Trump. So they're blind and oblivious. And yes, they are stupid enough to fall for the fact that there might be a little disagreement between Bolton and President Trump in the book, but also in the book are some damning, destructive things about the Democrat Party and the Democrat coup against this president. Yeah, they are that stupid. They are literally that stupid. Yes, thank you, Sherry, for fixing that comment, because that is true. Sherry says Vindman is stating court martial for not getting approval to testify against the commander-in-chief. Do you see how their cockiness puts them again and again at risk? Their cockiness again and again. So yes, Marita, that is true. We're going to find out going forward. There's a lot of times. Will the book end up near the toilet paper on the clearance rack? In the Democrat, here's what the Democrats, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. The book's going to come out. All these Democrats are going to buy this book because they think it says something negative about Trump. But in reality, it is going to tell you some stuff about the Democrats that's horrible. It will quickly, the media will have to look over the book. They're going to drag John Bolton through. He's going to point out these parts. Then they're going to try to stop dragging John Bolton around because they realize, oh my gosh, this book is not what we thought it was. It's actually hurting us, not helping us. And they'll try to quash it. And by then, everybody will have already read the book. So, not dissimilar to the way Steve Bannon left the administration. This idea of tension, this idea of there's some sort of conflict. What ended up happening, everybody was mad at Steve Bannon for a while. A year later, as I predicted so accurately, he came out with a new movie talking about the horrible corruption against the president and this coup. Obviously still on the president's side, obviously still supporting the mission from the whole time. Obviously, just as I suggested, his leaving and the way it was depicted was coordinated, was created as a narrative bender by the president to manipulate and control the mainstream media. Why do we have to manipulate and control the mainstream media? You see, if they do not care. They will only publish negative things against the president. If you want them to, and they will publish nothing negative against the Democrats. We know that to be a fact. You have to trick them into publishing bad things about the Democrats. You have to trick them in a couple of ways. One, literally trick them. Get them talking about a book that has stuff that's against them, and then they're talking about it now, boom, sneak it in on them, boom. This is what the book also says. That's one way. This is what I think Bolton is doing. Another way, you have to make a story so big and so pervasive, they can't avoid talking about it. The Jeffrey Epstein case is a prime example. It became so ubiquitous. Us, patriots, citizens, sharing it. The Epstein memes, I know it seems funny. You guys, people think there's just these memes. They're made to laugh. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't impact politics. It doesn't impact the national conversation. That's not true. Memes actually move the conversation, and they ensure the conversation continues to be had. And that is what happened with the Epstein case, which the media still has to talk about. They're still talking about it today. There's still trials going on. These girls are still seeking justice. Can't help it. So that's a second way that you can force the Democrat mainstream media. You can force them to talk about something. If it's so ubiquitous, everybody's talking about it. It's so much harder for them to keep silent about something everybody's talking about. Books and bills, they don't discriminate. This is a good comment, Kevin. It's the Dems old, we have to pass it and then read it again. Read it, agenda, books and bills, they don't discriminate. No, I don't think they read the whole book, and I think that's why they don't know what's in it. I think that's why they're Please throw John Bolton into that briar patch, you crazy Dems. Each and every time. It never fails. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this Kobe Bryant situation. My condolences, obviously, to the family, Kobe's family, and the families of the other individuals on the plane. I've seen a lot of people all over the board talking about this issue, anywhere from people grieving horribly to people freaking out about potential conspiracy theories. Everybody wants to know what Kobe knew about Hillary. We're sharing old tweets. We're sharing everything about Kobe's past, his checkered past. We're out of control. We're literally out of control. The problem being is Kobe Bryant was the only guy on that plane, on the helicopter. Now, I don't mind y'all talking, say what you want. We have free speech. I respect free speech. I respect it. But when people get annoyed at you because you're being inappropriate, it's not surprising. And then, of course, we see the media push to talk about Kobe Bryant, unfortunately got roped into this sportscaster, this journalist who said the N-word. Or said part of the N-word, and then they cut her off, or she stopped herself. Now we're talking about that more than we're talking about Kobe Bryant, and more than we're talking about the other innocent lives that unfortunately were lost that day. So I just feel like we've lost something in America. We used to be able to treat celebrities, whether they have earned their celebrity or not, with a reasonable amount of deference, respect, but also we just didn't care this much. We just didn't care this much. So the idea that Kobe Bryant died. He had things in his past. He had things in his he had things that we might not like. He might have said things against the president. But we used to have a way where we would go, oh, that was sad. He was a celebrity. We honored him for what he contributed, and we move on. And then a while later, we might discuss these other things. We're not doing that. We're not doing that anymore. In fact, I think the record was still on fire while people were making decisions on hating Kobe Bryant and celebrating his death because he had been against President Trump. Other people posting articles about how he was pro-America and he supported the United States and always thought that America was great. It's chaos. And we all don't know either of those things because, frankly, those are just stories reported to us by journalists that had an agenda to write about. So I'm not telling everybody what to post. But when you're posting things, let's remember common decency and civil respect. Part of the reason our country is falling apart at the seams, that's my rule too, Kevin. Let the body at least get to room temperature. Part of what's coming apart at the seams is we sit behind our computers and we think it's totally acceptable to be jerks, utter jerks to other individuals. And I just don't think it's a very good idea. I personally am not one to do it. And I think, that's what private messages are for. Or groups like Sorry Not Sorry. We have special places. Don't be putting that all public everywhere. It's ridiculous. So my condolences to the family. My condolences, obviously, to the young people who were lost. That is always a tragedy. And certainly we will find out going forward. There are, of course, some very interesting things about the assassination comment in his Wikipedia. There's many questions we still have going forward. We're going to find those out, but I'm not jumping on your bandwagon either way. It's very dangerous. If you haven't seen by the girl getting called out for saying knee, the girl who says knee, getting her life ruined, if you don't think it's dangerous, it's a volatile situation. Now, here's the fun part, you guys. I have the interview. It's going to be a two-parter, but this is part one. Diane Ventura, creator of the Trump towel, in this studio, sharing with us all about the Trump towel, why she created it, what's coming up for the Trump towel, and just some great conversations about our country and where we're going. So I'm going to pop over here. We're going to pop over here. We're going to pull that up here.
All right, everybody, we are having way too much fun in Trump Talk Studios today because I am here with Diane Ventura, the creator and founder of the Trump towel. You see it in my studio all the time. And we, of course, have here our Pardon Roger Stone banner. I want to just take a few minutes to talk with Diane about the Trump towel, about what's coming up with CPAC. It's still upside down. And all of this stuff. Why she started all of this. I know you guys know we talk about the Trump towel. And it's why we love our president, because he's bringing people together who love that we can practice our faith that we choose in America. We love our flag. We love our nation. We love the freedom that we have. So the Trump towel is a playoff of the terrible towel. But what it does is, biggest thing is, it shows your support for President Trump. It is easy to carry. You can use it for anything. I use it, actually. I love to do it. Sometimes I laugh so hard at the left, I tear up, and I use it. It's perfect for that. Absolutely perfect. I've also used my Trump towel, which is this one here on the wall. It's why mine's a little wrinklier. This one's nice and fresh. I've used mine at Trump International when the bench is wet. Dry booty. I have used mine. Maybe you're having a snack. It's a little messy, but don't do it this way. When you're doing it for that, do it this way. Pro tip, you guys. Pro tip. You're using it as a bed, because that way you can still then turn around, boom, Trump. You're like, that was a delicious meal. Go Trump. See how easy? It's absolutely useful for everything except, Diane, drying my body. Oh. I have tried to dry my body with the Trump towel, and most of my body remained wet, merely because, as you see, little towel, big Suzzanne, you have a solution. Yeah, there's a reason for that. That you bring that up. There's an oil base that's over top of this because it is a utility towel. It is not a towel for purposes of don't dry your booty with this towel, people. This is what we're learning. Or clean your glasses with it. That might explain a lot of things, actually, why I couldn't read posts. But it's a utility towel. It's used for pictures. You can see it takes amazing photos. Mm-hmm. And it has a longevity to it, and that is why it is super high quality. Yeah. But that explains. I didn't even know that you didn't even speak of drying your body with that. Of course I did. But that's why I'm doing that, because Diane, you have the solution to my problem. I do. Yes. This is the Trump beach towel. The Trump beach towel. You guys, this now. I know it's winter. Okay. But I also know you're all working on your bikini bodies now, because if you're not going to have a bikini body by the time it's summer. You should also be preparing to have a beautiful beach towel out on this beach, out at the water parks, wherever you're at. You can be supporting the president and be dry, as opposed to where you will still be supporting the president, but you'll be wet. One of the things that backed the process and the push to do something like this is, you and I both know, there are many organizations that we became friends through frustration of seeing different parties on the right and left. Yeah. Raising money, raising funds, and it wasn't going anywhere but to
host parties.
Yeah.
And
that's a very important point, because for all the fun we're having with enjoying and laughing and just having fun with the Tao is actually doing good work. And this is one of the things I'm most excited about, Diane. Your organization, the Trump Tao, has given now $4,000.
We have
in a $1,000 donation to a Gold Star family over the last 4 months. They have donated $1,000 to 4 separate families.
Yes, that we've given the money to families that are directly in need. I'm sure your audience is familiar, if not, with George Colella,
our godfather. Yeah,
Michelle and I thought, you know what, we need somebody outside of our business to choose to do the research. He is boots on the ground, loves our military, loves our faith, our flag, and our freedom, and he works from New York City to Florida to bring awareness to the good things that our president has done for our nation. And he also has such a great connection with Gold Star families. And we asked him if he would be our ambassador to do the research for us. So we have a third party, not Michelle and I, going out and finding the families that are in need. Families that this $1,000 made a huge difference for them, that we can put it directly into their hands, not some organization that claims they're doing good stuff and what they're doing is having parties and everyone's rubbing elbows, but nothing's getting done. You and I are both workers. We're out there registering people to vote. We're out there saying, look, your voice is your vote.
Encouraging citizen lobbying.
Is your voice. So you have to get out there. You have to get registered to vote. You have to be active. You have to be aware of who's running for local parties. Your judges, your commissioners, your township zoning officers,
your party committee workers, all of this, you need to know who these people are, because they're making powerful decisions without you if you don't know.
So many decisions that affect you at such personal levels, way more than who the president is.
Correct.
And that's been my passion for years, is literally schlepping, I guess is the word that my husband uses, that I go from fair to fair, to farm show, to events in different areas. That and that's my message. I really don't care if you're registered Republican, Democrat, or Independent. What I do care about is that you're doing your research on people who are running for office, making decisions in your day-to-day lives, who are also supporting what you claim in your family that you support.
Yeah, and I think this is actually a new paradigm. A lot of people talk about, we are awake now. We had a whole silent majority who was asleep, and now the majority is awake. What does that mean to me? Well, that means you need to engage your government. You need to engage your party politics. You need to find out who people are running. You need to know what party chairs are making decisions for you. And, Dan, point I got to make, we need to be supporting our Gold Star families. We need to be supporting our military, not through the government, not just through programs, but directly. And that's one of the things I really, in my heart, love that you're doing this, because it's not only supports our president and moves our election agenda forward, it becomes an example for how we should be new citizens in the post-Trump era. Be engaged, be active. Don't wait for the government to do the job for you. We have to do it ourselves. That's the country we have. That's the country our founders gave us, and we should take it back.
Well, that's the vision that our forefathers and foremothers had when they created this American experiment that we're living in this day. It's only 250 years old. And if for some reason in the next 50 years, even 100 years, this American experience ends, it's on the shoulders of us. We are the ones that for such a time as this, God has trusted us in this movement. And it's being registered and voting is so important. But treating others with love and kindness and showing love and kindness to others is what as a nation is what we really need to do. And
so, folks, that is okay, there we are. We're back. I lost myself a little bit there. Clicked on the wrong tab, but welcome everybody back. That was Diane Ventura, everybody. creator of the Trump towel. That was part one of our two-part conversation. I'm gonna be airing the second half of that interview where we talk about what's going on with Roger Stone, with his defense, and the importance of defending Roger Stone, of standing up for Roger Stone, signing the petition. We are really close to the goal. It was 800 signatures just a couple days ago that we needed to get to the 35,000 goal. And certainly we've been sharing that. And I haven't checked the goal yet. We might be even closer there. We might even be past it, but we certainly want to get more and more signatures. Let the president know we are standing with Roger Stone. We certainly stand against this witch hunt that is dragging these people's lives through the mud because of the exact same thing we're seeing in the halls of the Senate, in the halls of the House, a constant attack against the president and against the will of the people to elect whom they see fit as the president. It is a war not just against the president of the United States, obviously not just against Trump the man. It is against we, the people who are making our own decisions. And that's just the reality of the situation, you guys. So that is our show for today. I want to, of course, thank our sponsor, sendmeg.com. If you are in the New York, New England, Ohio, or Ontario area, if you have any package delivery, wide size load assistance needed, any kind of medical delivery, she is able to do special deliveries, special door-to-door service for absolutely anything you need transported from one place to another. So sendmeg.com. We appreciate her support here on the show. You can support the show at patreon.com/Trump Talk US. All of your support goes to continuing to be able to support this technology and the other necessary things it takes to run a little show like this. We do obviously every single day, or at least 3 days a week, I do try to put out relevant information, solid information, and I love to use this new technology. I want to be able to continue to do that. So that's what we've been using those Patreon dollars for, and I appreciate your support on that. And I appreciate Diane Ventura coming into the room here. All of my viewers, of course, Chris McDonald, my Munkin, love you to death. Let's play a little bit of this high energy business to close out. I feel like we need a little bit of this magic to close out.
So, you know, either get on the train or, you know, who cares?
People are already lined up in New Jersey, you guys, to see the president. Already lined up in the cold. Yeah. Over 175,000 people have gotten tickets for a 7,400 seat arena. Yeah. Landslide. And so much more. Till next time, this is your girl, Suzzanne Monk.
So what's your experience
Jumping
in front
out.
of the world?
Well, I design, I do reefs, I do